What is good, everybody? It's that boy Gibbs back with another one. I've been gone for a couple weeks. I've been dealing with some family issues, as does everybody. But I'm back, and I think I'm back forever now. Um, we're back with UFC 292, man. It's gonna be a decent card. We had a lot of fights that were, scrapped. A lot of fights that were rescheduled. But they're gonna put a couple of these fights back together. There's also, I have to note, it's the Ultimate Fighter finale, so we're still going to be waiting for Brad Katona's opponent. So I do a separate breakdown for that fight. But the show must go on. So the first fight of the night, we're gonna go ahead and start off with Karine Silva versus Marina Moroz. And honestly, man, I love Karine Silva. She's a legit killer. But I think this is the first fight in the UFC we're gonna actually see her tested. Um, she's going against the Iron Lady Marina Rose. She's 11-2. She's from Ukraine. She's never been finished, and I think that's very important to note in this spot because Karina Silva, she's usually one of those fighters. Either she knocks you out in the first or second, or gets a submission, or she wilts. Karina Silva, she's 16-4. She does have three of her four finishes coming. Three or four of her losses coming from finish. She lost one decision, but it's crazy. Moroz and her fought actually 5 years ago. They fought in XSL. I think it's XFC International is what it is. It was like armbar for Marina Moroz. So a lot of people they're on the Karine Silva side. I don't know, man. If you're a real better, man, you got to take the plus money in this spot. But it's going to be a great fight from just like a fan perspective. But I got to go with the underdog. Next fight up, we got Natalia Silva versus Andrea Lee. And this is going to be a phenomenal fight. Andrea Lee, in her last one, I thought she got robbed. I thought that she beat Macy Barber. But sometimes, the refs, the judges, they just don't get it right. I say judges and refs because sometimes the refs they do judge fights as well. Like last week, I don't know if you guys were watching, Hakeem Dawadu, come on now, he won that one. I was on the wrong end of that one, but if you're betting, you gotta understand that's what comes with the game. If we're gonna talk Andrea Lee, Natalia Silva, I just feel like Natalia Silva is just a more potent, dangerous striker. Whenever she fought Jasmine Jasudavicius, I just felt like she showed great takedown defense. That's very important in a fight like this because you seen in the last fight, Andrea Lee came out, one in the wrestle, one in the strike. She was really a true mixed martial artist. I thought she did enough to get it done. I didn't have no bet in that fight, but I still like seeing the right fighter get picked at the end of the fight. As you guys will see in my chart later, I do have this fight going to decision, but I do have Natalia Silva getting it done on the scorecards. Next fight up, we got GM3 Gerald Meerschaert versus Andre Petroski. And honestly, man, it's a great fight because if you look at it, you got Andre Petroski coming from Renzo Gracie. They've only lost one fight in the UFC since 2020. I thought that was pretty interesting. That fight coming from Pat Sabatini, Damon Jackson. And I think another L's coming. GM3, one of the most slickest jiu-jitsu artists. He's a black belt. He actually came from the Gracies. He got his black belt from the Gracies, so that's her true black belt. GM3, man, he's one of those guys you just can't sleep on. He's one of those guys, he'll put you in the guillotine. In my opinion, it's tax, debt, and GM3 by submission. That's just what it is, bro, because he always has to act to just find a submission at the end, man. Do I think that Andre Petroski can get a knockout? Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. But I don't know, man. I think people be sleeping on Gerald Meerschaert. He's a plus 200 in this spot. I don't know. Andre Petroski, we seen that he had trouble with southpaws. When he fought Brian Battle, he had issues with that southpaw spot. So you just never know. But I'm going to go ahead and ride with the underdog again. I'm going Gerald Meerschaert to get it done on Saturday night. And as I was telling you guys, now if Brad Katona, if this was Tuesday, which is today, I'm recording this on a Monday, I would have his opponent. But I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one. I actually have Brad Katona getting it done. I thought he was the best bantamweight in this competition. So whoever wins it, I got Brad Katona. So just know that. Austin Hubbard versus Kurt Hulabaugh. And this is going to be a great fight. We got Kurt Hulabaugh actually coming from the Ultimate Fighter. He won his lightweight bout. He won it in impressive fashion. I was like, okay, that's a guy to look out for. But you just never know, man. He's a round one or bust fighter, and I don't really, unless you Terrence McKinney or somebody like that, or Jailton Almeida or somebody like that, I ain't really gonna put all my eggs in a first round basket, in a first round finish. I just can't do that. But I do think Austin Hubbard, he fought my boy Roosevelt Roberts, and I say my boy just because I respect him. He's not really my boy. Austin Hubbard, he fought Roosevelt Roberts. I thought that Roosevelt Roberts did enough to win. That's just my personal opinion. Shoot, there's this app called Verified where you can check all of the media members, judging scorecards, and I think it was like 14-2. I was like 14-2 Roosevelt Roberts. I was like, what? And that was the way I had it. But having said that, we got Austin Hubbard. He's the younger man by 5 years. He is the shorter man, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Kurt Halabaugh, something that I must note, right now he's 0-4 in the UFC. He is coming back from the UFC. I don't know if you guys remember the Jaime Barcelos knockout, but he was the victim of that knockout. Then he got submitted by Shane Burgos, and then he got a loss by Thiago Moises by decision, and that was the end of his UFC reign. I don't know, man. I just think, although my motto is when you barely win your last fight, I fade you. But I just think this is a tailor-made spot for Austin Hubbard to come in and get him a second-round knockout. So I got to go Austin Hubbard to be the new Ultimate Fighter 32 winner. And I got him to go ahead and win by knockout. Next up, we got Gregory Rodriguez versus Dennis Tululin. In this fight, honestly, I feel like Dennis Tululin has one of the best. I want to say the best boxing for the middleweight division, but he has some of the worst takedown defense of all time. Like, his takedown defense is not UFC caliber, and if Gregory Rodriguez is smart on tape, he's gonna come down. He's gonna come in here. He's gonna take Dennis Tululin down, beat him up, make him wilt a little bit. He probably won't get him out of there in the first round, but like I said, man, you see it on the screen, man. His takedown accuracy and defense are literally zero. He's terrible. But I mean, like I said, he has some good boxing for the division, and he's very tough and scrappy. But once that fight hits the ground, you're gonna be upset that you got a Dennis Tululin ticket in your pocket. I actually got Gregory Rodriguez in by submission. This is one of my first bets that I got in already this week. I got him at a minus 330, but I got him in a parlay that we'll talk about later. So I got Gregory Rodriguez in a parlay right now as we speak, but I got him at minus 330. So he's at minus 350 right now. If you're watching this video late, he's probably juiced up to the tits because, I mean, he's the rightful favorite. But yeah, I like Dennis Tululin though, but not a good matchup as we got the motorcycle rolling by. Not a good matchup for him. Moving on, we got Chris Weidman versus Brad Tavares. And honest to God truth, I never thought I would be breaking down Chris Weidman tape again. Honestly, because I just didn't think he was coming back from that leg injury, man. It was pretty devastating. It was a pretty devastating leg injury. And, it happened to him when he was 37. He's been out for 2 years now. He's 39 years old. Time doesn't stop for anybody. So, you have to imagine, you just seen Tony Ferguson come in here. He literally didn't look like himself at 39 years old. I mean, then you can look at the Black Beast. The Black Beast, 38, came in looking crazy, but I mean, that's a different breed, you know. If we're being honest, these guys at these smaller weight classes, they just don't look themselves whenever they just get older, in my opinion. Um, I like Chris Weidman, you know, and this is kind of crazy because ever since I really been, you know, betting on this sport, I don't think I've ever picked Brad Tavares to ever win a fight, but I think this is a great matchup for him. Um, I actually got to go with Brad Tavares to win by, and believe it or not, I'm going third round TKO. As you'll see on the chart later in the video, I got him by third round TKO. Do I think he can go to decision? Absolutely. But I just think, you know, being out 2 years, I think that I think Brad Tavares is gonna find him. Next fight up, we got Marlon Chito Vera versus Pedro Munoz. And you know, we're supposed to see Henry Cejudo in this spot, but we had Pedro Munoz stepping up on late notice. Honestly, shoot, believe it or not, this fight's pretty close. I think this is a pretty close fight because the way Chito Vera be fighting, man, he always get that first round up. This is a 3 round fight, and I'd be remiss if I didn't point that out because, you know, Chito Vera's last 3 fights, or two, one of the two, they've been main events. So, you know, he's had that 1 round, the 2 extra round leeway to, you know, have. But honestly, you know, he never picked it up with Sanhagen. Somebody gave him a split decision. Once again, terrible fucking judging, but somebody gave him a fucking split decision. He did not win the split decision. I gave him 1 round. I gave him the 3rd round. That was it. Um, but I think Chito Vera, this is a good spot for him. You know, you got to think about it. He's been training for a guy like Henry Cejudo for the last 2 months. You know, Pedro Munoz was taking shots 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago. Honestly, drinking. I don't know if he smokes, but basically what I'm saying, he wasn't thinking about a fight. And when I'm breaking these fights down, when I think short notice, I put myself in those shoes. I'm like, I wasn't thinking about a fight 3 weeks ago. He's probably not gonna win. Marlon Chito Vera by decision, baby. All right, so here's another fight: Mario Bautista versus nobody, because Cody Garbrandt pulled out. But honestly, man, we all know that. We all know Mario Bautista would have got a finish, man. We already know that. So I'll probably be breaking this fight down separately because Mario Bautista, if anybody's crazy enough to take Mario Bautista in 6 days' notice, I know that if he was my size, I got about 60, 70 pounds on him, so I can't take that fight. But shit, if he was in my weight class, I'm still not taking that fight on 6 days' notice. You're crazy. And that's for any 135 or out there. Do not take this fight on short notice. You're gonna lose. This dude's a killer. Moving on, we got Ian Gary, Neil Magny. And this is another fight that it was supposed to be Jeff Neal. It's supposed to be Jeff Neal in this Neil Magny spot. And honestly, if we're looking at this card was just makeshift. It's a makeshift card. That's what we gotta call it. But I mean, they did good for what they got here. You know, you have to imagine somebody's gonna be crazy enough to step up and take Batista on 6 days' notice. So we'll be breaking that fight down. I ain't gonna lie though, if they give him a can, I'm not breaking that fight down. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Mario Bautista by 1st round submission. Or knockout. He can knock you out, but he's been submitting people lately, so I gotta go submission. But Neil Magny, he's one of those guys who's a lot tougher than what he looks. You look at Neil Magny, he's like, man, this guy isn't tough. This guy isn't tough, but that's not the case. Neil Magny, very scrappy, very tough, very durable veteran. Neil Magny's that litmus test for you. If you're not ready for the big shows or the big league, Mr. Magny's gonna show you. He'll let you know. But in this spot, I think Ian Gary's the real deal. He has great boxing, great footwork, great movement, great cardio. My only concern with Neil Magny, which doesn't pertain to this matchup, is his striking defense. Like, I don't know, man. I just can't get that vision of Song Yadong chinning Ian Gary out my head. He almost knocked Ian Gary out. Like, if that had been like a Chaos Williams, a Drakus Duplessis, just one of those big power punchers, could have possibly knocked you out in that spot right there. So, you know, that's something Ian Gary has to be real mindful of, man. You can have everything you'll owe everything taken away from you with one shot. You gotta be careful. Gotta be real careful. I was just kind of just rambling right there. I didn't show y'all the tell of the tape. So that's the tell of the tape. 36 years old for Neil Magny. 25, same age as me for Ian Gary. These guys are pretty much like a great matchup. Ian Gary, he has a 6-inch disadvantage on the feet, but you know, I wonder how that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be like, I don't know. I think that's gonna be very important in this matchup because you know, when you look at the tail of the tape, if you don't watch tape, there's usually always something in the tail of the tape that can kind of break the fight down for you. And that's like my best advice for people who don't watch tape. You gotta look at the tail of the tape, which I advise you to watch tape always because you have to know what type of fighter you're dealing with. So you know it's important to watch tape. But if you're not, that's what I'm saying. I think that Neil Magny could probably extend this fight a little bit. I definitely have Ian Gary winning by a third round TKO, but I think he can extend this fight. He can maybe win some minutes because you know, shoot, Neil Magny, he's the ultimate point fighter, the ultimate minute winner, and for Neil, sorry, it was the dog barking outside. For Neil Magny, and I'm glad I didn't forget my thought. For Neil Magny to come and take this fight on short notice, that means that he sees something in this kid that he can exploit. And I'll be remiss if I didn't say that. Because, you know, I'm not one of these people who just, oh, yeah, Ian Gary, the new hot Ferrari toy, he's going to win. No, sir. If I think there's a spot you can lose, I'll tell you. And I'm not scared to say it. I don't think this is the fight where Ian Gary loses. But there is worlds where Neil Magny's winning minutes. There is a world where Ian Gary's on his back. And he's just not able to instill his game plan. There's a world where that happens. But I do see the world that we're in. I see him chinning Neil Magny on Saturday and taking the number 11 round and 11 ranking. So I got Ian Gary to go ahead and win by TKO. Next fight up, we got title fights from here on out. We got Weili Zhang versus Amanda Lemos. And Amanda Lemos, she's been asking for this opportunity for a while. So I'm kind of happy for, you know, I'm kind of happy for Amanda Lemos. She's fighting our champion, Weili Zhang. I think it's going to be a phenomenal fight, man. I just wish maybe Amanda would have got this title shot maybe like 3 years ago because she's 36 years old, you know. Once you start getting like 33, 34, 35, that's where the decline can happen. I'm not saying it will, and I'm not saying that's where it will happen, but that's where things can happen for sure. Weili Zhang, you know, she's a really well-rounded fighter. I was going to say that she's trying to knock you out, but she is trying to knock you out, but she can do everything. She can submit you. She can put you in the crucifix and have no choice, get a ref no choice but stop the fight. I've seen her win in every fashion. She has 23 wins. So I do think there's a world where Amanda Lemos' jiu-jitsu can give Weili trouble because I feel like that's the one spot where we haven't seen Weili tested is her jiu-jitsu defense. And I mean, having said that, I wouldn't be surprised if she got caught in an armbar because I mean, shoot, now my guy for real, Jamal Hill, he's not the former champ right now, but he's the champion of the world. I remember he lost his O to Paul Craig because I remember in the preview he was like, Paul Craig's like, man, we're gonna test his grappling. I'm gonna take him to the deep waters and test his grappling. I'm like, that shit scared me. I was nervous. And that's exactly what he did, was test his grappling. So there's a world where Amanda Lemos comes in here, tries to test her jiu-jitsu, maybe snag an arm up. You just never know. This is a world title fight. In a title fight, you can't rule nothing out. I got to go Weili Zhang, but I will say, I mean, Amanda Lemos is one of the scrappiest dogs at a plus 250 tag you'll ever see. At plus 250, Amanda Lemos is a very live dog. And that's just all I have to say. But I do have Weili Zhang, having said that. Next fight up, we got Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. And right now, we will go ahead and take a closer look into the main event.
It's going to be a bad night for Sean.
Aljamain Sterling!
I have the wrestling pedigree.
This is nasty.
I have the BJJ pedigree.
Is that?
And I can strike.
Sterling is going off.
He's going to have to answer for his words and see if he's as good as he really thinks he is.
The best way to deal with Aljamain's grappling is keeping it on the feet.
That's as good as it gets.
I am a sniper. I will find his chin.
The walk-off KO!
And new bantamweight champion of the world.
Man, don't that get you turned? Don't that get you lit, man? That's crazy. We got title fights, baby. We got Sean O'Malley versus Aljamain, man. And honest to God, I feel like this is the fight where Aljamain solidifies himself. He solidifies himself, shows himself that he is the man. He is him. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been on Aljamain Sterling before it was cool to be on Aljamain Sterling. I was on Aljamain Sterling's side when everybody was like, Piotr Jan, Piotr Jan, Piotr Jan. I was on Aljamain Sterling's side whenever he's choking out Corey Sandhagen. No cap. Nah, that's as far as I go because that was my first Aljamain Sterling fight. I ain't gonna cap. But he impressed, and that was the last time that Corey Sandhagen has been finished. The one and only time he's been finished in his career. So that's still a feather in his cap. We got the Sugar Show, man. We got Sugar Show. He's going ahead and he's gonna go ahead and get his title shot. I don't know if you guys remember, he was supposed to actually have a title shot like 4 months ago. That was Henry Cejudo who actually got the title shot. He gave the title shot up to him. He would need some more time to train. I don't think that is gonna even matter because honestly, Aljamain, he is the real deal, man. He's the real deal. He cuts a lot of weight, and I think that could play a part in this fight. Because if Sean O'Malley connects, man, a guy cutting all that weight, man, that shit's scary. When you're cutting weight, you just can't take the same shots that you could take it if a guy could on the street not cutting weight, you know? And it's facts. So, you know, I hope that Aljamain is able to just get the fight down to the ground early and not even have no funny business, man, for real. That's what I'm hoping because, you know, I do like Aljamain Sterling, and I actually have Aljamain Sterling to complete my night in the parlay. So yeah, that parlay I was telling y'all about is definitely gonna be Brad Tavares, and it's gonna be Aljamain Sterling. So that's the parlay. But I definitely think that, you know, I like Sugar Sean. You know, he got all the clout, he got all the hype. He got all the fame. He's popular. He's like the popular kid. That's how you gotta look at him. He's the popular kid, but he's about to get his ass whooped because once you get in that octagon, I don't care about how cool you are, how rich you are, how famous you are. It does not matter. You're in there. It's about to be a fist fight, man. And that's on my kids. Don't even have kids, but it's gonna be a fist fight. That's all I'm saying. And Aljamain Sterling not losing. He not losing to Sean O'Malley, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I like Sean O'Malley, but, you know, skill for skill. Like, let's be honest here, bro. If we just talking skills, bro, Aljamain Sterling is on a whole nother level, bro. And that's just all I got to say. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my charts. So here's what I got. So on here, I actually got where I believe the odds were going to be, and then here's the real odds. So on the left-hand side is where if I was an odds maker, that's where I would have the odds. You see Austin Hubbard, he's actually a -177. I had him at a -150. Now, Karine Silva, I was off on that. -340. I thought they would have her at a higher tag. She's only a -184. I actually have her losing the fight, but she is a favorite. But I have her losing the fight. Natalia Silva, she's still a big favorite, -360. You see, I had her at -440. Andre Petrosky, I had him at a -200 because I have him losing. He's a -295. There's some big money on GM3, and we'll come back next week. Either I'm gonna look like a big idiot, or I'm gonna look like the big sharp that I think I am. I got GM3. So and then Gregory Rodriguez, he's a massive favorite. I didn't think he was going to be that big of a favorite, probably because I have too much respect in Dennis DeLulan. He's actually a -370. If you look at Brad Tavares, I was wrong. I'm getting fired. They're gonna probably fire me for that bar. I put him at a -115. He's actually a -295, and I should have took into account that that's how they had it. But I was thinking they would have some recency biasness. I thought they were low on Brad Tavares. I guess not. Guess they're lower on Wyman. Then I had Marlon Vera -50, -150. They got him at a -200. I was spot on with the Ian Gary. I had him at a -300. They got him at a -298 now. Weili Zhang -290. I had her at a -370. Well, they had her at a -370. And then Aljo, I had him at a -325. They had him at a -290. And the reason why I made that chart is because when you make these type of charts, then you get an idea on where your mind's at, and you get an idea on where the value or where the value isn't. That's the reason why I make those charts. I'm gonna continue to make this chart too because I think it's important. So what else I have too? I have my confidence rate and I have my picks. So I'm most confident in Ian Gary. And let's make this clear. This is a pretty sketchy card. This card's sketchy. I could see 6 underdogs winning on this card. And this is only a 12-fight card. This card is sketchy, man. When you're dealing fist fights, man, anything can happen. And this is one of those cards that truly prove that. Ian Gary, I have him 70% winning, third round TKO. Natalia Silva, 65%. And I have her winning by decision. I got Aljamain Sterling, 65% chance of winning, third round submission. I got Gregory Rodriguez, 65%, second round submission. Then I have Brad Tavares, 63%, TKO, third round. Then I have Zhang Weili, 61%, fourth round TKO. We're going to the championship rounds in that one. Austin Hubbard, 57% chance winning, and I got him winning third round TKO. Marlon Vera, I got him winning by decision, 55% confident. Pedro Munoz is alive, another fight. I haven't really talked too much about Pedro, the Punisher. He's live, man. But it's just the late notice that got me like But Marino Moroz, decision. Gerald Mearshart, submission, and Brad Katona, third round submission or decision. That is going to be it for the card, boys. Everybody gamble responsibly as always. Take these picks and make some money because I know I'm about to make some money with these picks. I literally be telling people I make money with my own picks. This whole diagram right here is where I'm going to be basing off of. So just go back and just look at these things and find your spots. But also do your research like I did. But, if you don't want to do your research, take my picks. I don't care. How I bet I be going fight to start round 3, fight to not start round 3. It's going to be a lot of violence. So I'm going to have a lot of fights to not start round 3 on this motherfucker. So, yeah, man, let's make some money, man. Good luck with it.